Hey guys, welcome back to Combustion Junction. I am Steve. Today, a little bit of a sad update for the CM400, which we'll get right to in a second. And we do a little bit of musical gas tanks. So stick around. So this, as you may recall, is the gas tank, the original gas tank for the CM400 build that I did. I've just taken the emblems off right now. Loved this tank, loved the look of it. Was really happy that I was able to sort of repurpose the shape of it to really fit the bike, and it made the bike look really aggressive, and I was actually really happy with it, and I changed the mounts and stuff. You can go back and look at those episodes if you want. It's basically been in the garage with me, tucked in the corner over the winter while I've been working on the Scrambler. Basically, long story short, is this tank kind of bit the dust. I was having problems with a little bit of fuel leaching out, in spite of the fact that I did coat the inside, and it did hold fast, and it was carrying fuel and running for a while. But over the winter, what actually happened was the entire bottom seam on the inside has given out. I think that part was much more far gone than I thought. And years ago, I actually had a Nighthawk with a similar tank, and the exact same thing happened. I think it's just an age thing. If water mixed with gases, water goes to the bottom, and it just, that's the spot. And it's almost exactly what happened before. And first I thought my carbs were leaking, even though I thought I had drained them. And then you can even see here, I was trying different things just to see what, like if there was an actual leak here. That's like gas tank sealer kit on the outside. I was sort of just seeing, but in the end, there was really no recovering it. It's just like sealing it already, and it getting through that, you know, kind of sealed the fate. So, bit of a bummer. To be honest, I love the treatment on it. I love the bare metal. I love the black sort of, and you know, and even the flaws on it, you know, that it had, I was totally good with. So when this happened and I realized that I was going to have to look for a new tank, obviously, you know, I don't want to get a tank in the same situation because it's happened to two of these tanks on me. I actually had my doubts that I was going to find a suitable replacement in better condition, you know, that didn't come off a driving bike. I didn't want to scrap out a good bike just to strip the tank for the thing. So I just started looking around for other options on what I could put on the bike that might be close, that might make it look better. I sort of started my hunt for that tank, just looking at other bike models, other possibilities, you know, capacity, whatever. As well, I did put a wanted ad out locally in my classifieds for this tank or something similar, that hopefully somebody had a parts bike and it was in okay shape, and you know, they didn't want too much for it. But I didn't really hold out much hope for that. I thought I was just gonna have to, you know, find what I find and make it work somehow. So that being said, I started my hunt on eBay, and let me show you tank number one. Late 70s, early 80s, Suzuki something. Maybe a 250, something like that. It's not terribly big. On spec, it holds the same fuel roundabouts as the Honda one. It's not the same shape. It definitely doesn't have the, you know, the kind of come out on the sides here thing. But I thought, according to the pictures, it was worth a try. So you can see the tank is hitting the triple tree, and even shoved up that far, it's still pushing the seat back beyond the frame. Too bad, because it's really, really clean inside, and you know, overall a good tank. So yeah, that was a little bit of a letdown. Until I got an email responding to my inquiry for a CM400 tank. Let me show you the result of that. Yep. Got an email from this guy. Turns out it's a bike shop, and 30 years ago they were a Honda dealer, and the basement of this shop is full of stuff like this. Also like to point out, it still has the original paper with this like really nice felt padding. Early 80s, new old stock factory replacement tank. 82 CM450C and A. The guy who got in touch with me figures this was a replacement ordered, and what he showed me is that it's absolutely perfect, save one little, and I doubt you can even see it on the, see that right there? That one little ding right there. I think that's why it didn't get used and it just got shelved. He sent me a couple of pictures and I just jumped in the car. It basically, to look at it, it looks like almost an exact match. There is a little bit of a profile difference and I think it takes a different gas cap, but I was super excited to check this out. So I got in the car, I drove there, and just pretty much immediately bought it. As it turns out, it's too big. I guess from 79 to 82, or from the 400 to the 450, there was enough changes that this is actually way too big for the frame. It goes an inch or two too far beyond the back. A total real bummer. And it's in such good shape, and you know, these are getting harder and harder to find. It is absolutely mint inside. It's brand new. It's been in that box on a shelf. Like, that box was dusty. And I kind of felt bad about hacking into something so nice and then stripping all the paint or whatever. And I'm sure there's somebody somewhere who would really appreciate this for what it is. In fact, if any of you guys have a use for this, reach out to me. Otherwise, it's gonna go up on the eBay or something and I'll try and recoup. So that's tank number 2 that I bought and can't use. So far I'm 0 for 2. Let's put this away before I do something silly. Now, I should interject that before I go any further beyond that tank, this was the CJ360 tank, and as you know, the CJ gave me a lot of parts for the CB360. I did try to see if this fit, and it actually has not bad profile, but once again, it's too long for the bike. It wasn't fitting right. This was a bit too narrow here. It actually took me a while to get the cap off, and because it was that stuck, and it's really, really crusty inside. So that's why this one is not in the running. Going back to the former Honda dealership that I got that tank from, you know, we got to chatting and it was slow, so it was a good time for me to chat with the guy. I just sort of, you know, offhandedly, because I was sort of thinking about the CB360 tank, and you know, maybe he has something like that, because you know, my 360 tank is a little beat up, and I thought, well, if I could find a better one. So I just happened to say, you know, you got any old CB stuff, you know, lying around? And he said, well, come on down in the basement and I'll show you what I have. So we get down, and there's probably at least 20 to 25 brand new old stock Honda tanks in boxes. Most of it's 80, mid to high to late 80s, maybe into the 90s bikes and stuff. Nothing that really wanted the style that I was looking for, but it was really interesting to see all the stuff. And then on another shelf, there was just all kinds of parts that had been pulled and thrown up on shelves, including a number of old gas tanks from various kinds of bikes, which is where I found this guy. Mid-70s CB550, 750? I'm gonna guess 750. It's seen some love. It's got a little bit there. It's got a couple of there. You know, when the steering stop broke and guys would just nail the tank with their handlebars and that. I don't think the paint is original. Well, look at it. So this, when I saw it, wasn't really intended for the CM400. I was actually more thinking about the XJ550 for this. And inside, clean. I had to jump on this one. It's not very often you come across a tank of this styling, this clean, for not much money. But let me move on to the next thing I found while I was in that guy's basement. I believe 79 Hawk. Pretty good shape. Overall, not bad. A little bit of surface rust inside. Once again, completely clean as a bell. So I kind of jumped on this one as well, thinking I might be able to resell it if it didn't work. But in fact, I think this guy is my new Cafe RACER gas tank. Check it out. So that's kind of it there. It's definitely different, but with regards to, you know, an overall sort of similar look, I kind of like it. I even like the gas tank flap that's still sort of on there. The tank definitely goes down way lower than the other one did. I actually had to, in dealing with the Suzuki tank and everything else, I ended up taking off the new mounts that I had for the original tank, and I had actually cut down the original stems because they were much longer, and what I ended up with fit this perfectly, and that was sort of also helping me with my decision. Obviously this is going to go totally down to bare metal again. The stripes sort of do it, no adjustments for the lines. The tank itself really comes down and hugs the frame really nicely. And the guy threw in an original tank mounting rubber, and it actually, with it on, it actually puts the tank at the right sort of level with the bike. So there it is. I say, let's strip some paint off of this thing. So this is it, almost done. Obviously I still have to do the cap on the top. There's a couple of other little bits to hit. I basically had to go into the wire wheel, and I've just started to kind of create the finish that I had on it before. I'm still going to work on it a bit, do some paint, do some acetone to sort of rub things in and highlight it the way that I liked it so much before, but I'm almost happier with it now than with the other tank. So there you go, guys. That's the end of gas tank story time this week. If you got this far, thanks for sticking around. I know that was a bit of a tale, but I thought it was a cool one to tell. And hopefully you're on board with the new tank and the direction it took. Don't give me grief about the paint. It wasn't perfect. It looked a lot better on camera than it did in real life. So that's why I didn't have an issue with stripping it. And there was definitely some surface rust coming through that had to be flattened anyway. So wanted to also quickly mention one other tank that some may wonder why I didn't mention, is that when Paul, who gave me the XJ550, I also mentioned that he was going to throw me one of the Suzuki tanks from the 750s, which he did. And this is it here. It's huge. This thing is mammoth. Look, like it's like, you know, I think my bus gas tanks are this size. But, and it's in really good shape, but once again, just way too big. Even way too big for the 550. This is his, it's going back to him. It's a great candidate for a restore, so just thought I'd throw that out there just in case anybody was wondering why it didn't come up. So a couple other things to note. I think I found an upholsterer for the CB seat, so I'm gonna look into that. I have come up with a third idea for the heat shield for the mufflers, so I think next time I will give you a whirl into that. And if you checked out that photo I put up on the community page, you'll see that I broke out the Trail 90, and I'm actually gonna go in a little bit of a different direction with that, which I think is kind of cool. But I'm not going to do a step-by-step build on it. I think I'm just going to time-lapse it out because I've already put it together and taken apart a number of times. I don't think anybody needs to see that anymore. Hopefully in the next little while that will sort of present itself. Give me a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't and want to keep up to date, share this series or this video with somebody you think may enjoy them. Leave a comment down below. I would actually really like to know what you guys thought of the little story. I will talk to you in the next one. We'll be back at the CB360 Scrambler. Cheers, guys.